So this is a ATC300 transfer case for a 08 BMW 528i X-Drive. I'm not a BMW guy, but a little research I've done trying to help my neighbor out get a transfer case back together, get it back on the road for now. This is what I figured out, and this is kind of what I know. So this unit had a catastrophic bearing failure in 3 different areas. The primary setup, we've got 5 needle bearings. So you got 1, 2, 3. There's one side here, 4, 5 on your main input shaft. This is the output to the rear axle. The engine input, transmission input's this way. This is your front drive shaft output. What we found out was the bearings on the piston is what they call this component right here for your clutch pack. It's just like a dirt bike clutch, really, from what I worked on. This whole face was completely scored. This is the original transfer case, is what I was told. It looks like it's been replaced here in the last couple of years. That thing looks brand new for the pump. I didn't do anything but clean it, check it. There's no material in it. This one she bought to replace it when that one failed. This one had a monstrous failure. I don't know whether the bearing let out and then shelled everything else out, shelled out the pump, or the pump shelled out and shelled out all the bearings. But you can see right there the gear rotor is cracked. There's chunks missing. Looks like aluminum cotton candy all over the transfer case on that one. The piston face is unsalvageable. There's actually needles like friction welded into the face here. The throwout eccentrics. This one is a bearing face that interfaces here. Yeah, that's not good. This is I'll call it the bottom side. This is a bearing face. That one's not too bad. But anyway, this is the bits of metal we found in here. You can see this is the last of the needle bearing set that used to ride in here. And then one that I found on this one I didn't realize was bad until I really tore it apart, took everything out, cleaned it, checked for all bits of material and whatnot. This little guy right here, $30 unit, has a plastic carrier, but this bearing's actually split because it has to go around this shaft before you install this gear. So that one will be here in a couple days. Stick it on there. This will slide down over the shaft and then seat. The only thing I can think of that caused all this is either A, the wrong type of oil, or B, loss of pump. Apparently this is a very common issue on these BMW transfer cases. This is a gear drive, it's not a chain drive, which leads me to think they gave her the wrong oil. Apparently this year model or setup, they did make a chain drive, but this one being a gear drive, well, is what it is. So, not a Beamer guy, but I'm just going to give you my mechanical insight on it. So this piston right here was about as bad as that one, not nearly as bad. I was able to put it up on a lathe, clean up the face, take about 5 thou off, stone polish, grind it. That'll be usable. I ended up taking one of these arms out of the one that blew up, and also this bearing right here was destroyed. This one actually was not bad. Cleaned it up, checked it. I think it'll be okay. Everything else, I took the whole case apart. Little bits and pieces, I mean like little chunks of metal, plastic, whatnot, all over the place, all in your ball bearings, in your conical bearings, and there's a 6 needle bearing inside here in this eccentric drive for your actuator as it's going down. The bearings had a lot of crunching, grinding. I took these out. They're just lightly pressed fit. You can pull these apart. This is your front shaft. This actually has a little snap ring inside here. If you gently tap it out, it'll just pop out a socket, and you can take this whole assembly out with this gear. Take a little bit of brake clean, slowly turn it, spray it, get all the junk out of it. Once you feel, while turning it slowly with no oil in it, there's no popping, grinding, or just, you can tell there's junk in there. Once you're at that point, take a little bit of light oil. I used a little bit of ATF, that's what I had, because the oil for this stuff's like $60 a quart. Put a little bit of oil in there, turn it gently until it quiets up, and then now when I spin it, you shouldn't hear anything. No noise. The same thing with this ball bearing down here. No noise. And if you have to remove this, I did, because there was stuff up between this and the seal for the input for the transmission. The snap ring back here, you do not compress it, you expand it. And you have to drive this out at the same time to a point. Once you get past this locking groove, you can release that. It'll just come out on its own. Just a rubber mallet, a little block of wood. You don't have to wail on it. It wasn't too bad. Honestly, this thing's pretty simple. If you've taken apart a dirt bike clutch basket, it's not too bad. But yeah, so here we go.